Наш круглый стол посвящен влиянию американских выборов на актуальную глобальную повестку, на дискредитацию традиционных ценностей, сложности распространения объективной информации, а также мы поговорим о возможности расширения и альтернативного информационного пространства. Сейчас, вот, как вы знаете, патриарх рассказал о том, что 50 семей православных американских хотят переехать сейчас в Россию.
Yeah, traditional family values in America. Well, basically, I think what's happening is that there's this sort of worldwide revulsion against this crazy, it's demonic. I don't think there's a better word. You can't call it liberal. You can't call it progressive. It's just all out bad. These moral and sexual and other things that are happening. And there's a worldwide revulsion against it. And what you see happening in Russia is just a realization of how bad it is. And I don't think the Russians actually realized what they were dealing with even a few years ago. I'm a huge optimist in terms of what can be done in the information space in the West, speaking up for what's good and right and true. I keep telling my Russian colleagues, first of all, you're completely wrong about all that. And secondly, you really got to stand up and do something, because you are basically one of the few places in the world where people can really speak this stuff freely without suffering consequences. And people are interested in Russia. All eyes are on Russia. People realize it's an emerging Christian civilization, and that matters enormously to Christians around the world. And so I hope they do. So that would be you want to?
Есть местный депутат и есть национальный депутат. То есть местный депутат, он представляет общину при посольстве и консулате. Это очень интересно, потому что он решает все жизненные вопросы. И у него есть, например, связь с депутатом, который представляет общину за рубежом уже в Национальной ассамблее. Таким образом, он тоже может повлиять, потому что он может обратиться напрямую, он может задавать вопрос, который обязательно должны быть обсуждаться в Национальной ассамблее публично. Мы принимаем участие в избрании сенаторов. Это тоже очень важно, потому что тогда напрямую мы можем влиять хоть немножко. Такая радикализация мира.
What the United States and the Western media is doing now is telling the exact opposite of the truth. I have several specific examples of where the Western media has taken photographs of the carnage after Ukrainian bombings in Donetsk, and the next day, La Stampa in Italy and the New York Post specifically have placed those pictures without accreditation, stealing them from the actual photographers, put them on their front page under the headlines, Russia attacks Ukraine. This is literally the opposite of the truth. It is not just a lie, it's a damn lie.
But it's changed a lot, okay? For 5 years that I've been here, it's getting better and better in Moscow all the time. It's so safe. You don't know how safe it is. When I go to New York, it's not safe. It's terrible. You've got grubs, you got guns, stuff like that. And in Moscow, I can go on the bus, I can get a metro, no problem. People let me sit down. I'm getting older, so they let me sit down. And in New York, nobody does that. I mean, it's just a lot of nice. It's very safe.
I'm a mother of 3, and у меня 3 детей. One of the reasons that I'm here, even though you can tell I'm probably to a random American, I'm just as American as anybody else. Для стандартного американца я, в принципе, звучу как американка. Именно почему я здесь, в России, это из-за моих детей. I'm here because of my children. And America of yesteryear is not the America that I was given today to raise my children. Америка, которая была тогда, когда я росла, это не та же Америка, которая мне предлагается сейчас для того, чтобы там воспитывать моих детей.
I see the two problems as being America's traditional values unraveling and the tension between America and Russia.
They will have to live through the deterioration of family values complete. I mean, if you take a look at what they're pushing in kindergartens and schools onto kids and families that don't want anything to do with it, it's actually quite horrible. And in fact, a lot of people who I interview list that as one of their main reasons why they do want to move, whether it is to Russia, or I had a couple that are moving to Romania, actually, from Canada. They want to move because they want to actually have a future for their children. The interesting part is 20 years ago was the opposite. People here in Russia were saying we want to move out for the benefit of our children, and now it seems to have gone the other way around.
You said the good guy always wins. The fact of the matter is, most of the time, the good guy does not win. It's only when the good guy grabs it and puts forth the effort and decides to engage in the fight that the good guy can win. There are a lot of good people in the United States.